This live event will begin in a few moments. Oh, we're live now. I just got the thing. But this is the link that I used from your WhatsApp. Oh, here I am. Okay. Okay, let me hang on because I took off the story because I don't want people like, what's happening? So is this thing on or gotta
Yep, we're
talk?
live. We're live now.
Oh, buddy, this is my first YouTube
Awesome.
live YouTube. I'm
Yep.
trying everything. I did a live IG last week. I did a live Zoom. Now it's a live YouTube. Soon I'll be cooking.
I just hope this session goes well because the first time we're using this
Yeah.
remote guest then. So
So who's on?
right now
Anybody I know?
right now I see two people on. Hey guys, if whoever is up there, just leave us a comment. Let us know where you're coming from, where you're watching from,
Yeah.
kind of stuff, All right. I'm gonna push out my Instagram story as well, and then we can
Yeah, I'm just redoing the story.
get going. I'm just gonna wait for your story and share, because like I said, you're better off
Yeah.
within the
I don't
stories
just
than me. I don't
it's
know,
almost a
man.
job.
I just
It's almost
struggle
a
with the
job.
story thing for some
It's almost a
reason.
job. Honest to God, it's a job. Okay, let me tag you, right?
Yep, that's fine.
Hang on.
Hey guys in the chat, let us know if you can hear us properly. How the audio and the video is coming out. Let us know in the chats if you can.
Okay,
If you
it's
can
up. The
hear
story's up.
us. All right.
Oh my God.
Okay.
2 seconds, man. Everything's wonky today. Everyone's on the.
Yep. So how are you coping with this quarantine situation so far?
Um, I'm doing a lot of things that I've put off. Let's put it that way. Updating my website, uploading a stock photography, all kinds of stuff, man. Doing videos about toilet paper.
Awesome.
You know how it is.
Yeah.
I don't know. The thing is, like, we don't know when it's going to end, right?
True.
That's the
True.
thing.
That's the
When
thing.
this
We
is,
don't know
how long this is going to go.
when this is all gonna be over. All right, guys. Leave us a comment in the chat if you can hear us and see us properly. If everything is working fine on your end. We just gonna hang out, do a little bit of a pre-show, wait for people to join, and then we can
Hey,
start
it's up, buddy. It's up.
conversation. All right.
Tag that on yours.
Here we go. Add this to my story.
Yeah, got it.
Awesome. Okay,
Should be good
open
to
up.
go.
Yeah, we should be good to go. I just wanna
Cool, man.
open up YouTube so I can monitor and see the comments coming in when they do.
Yeah. I just logged in from the Get Out Shoot IG. It's hilarious. I like it. It's cool, man. I
Yep,
like it.
yep.
That's pretty cool, man.
All right.
Cool, man.
Okay.
Let's start it off.
Get started off. So, guys, in
First
the
live
comments,
YouTube.
leave us a comment. Let us know if you can hear us.
I heard a beep.
Yep, yep.
Mm.
Oh, I think that was on my end.
Oh, I just heard we're delayed, eh? Or
Yeah,
I'm, I don't
YouTube is always there's gonna be a little bit of a few
know.
seconds of
No.
delay on
Mm-hmm.
YouTube. So
Mm-hmm.
there's always gonna be that little bit of delay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So apparently people can hear me online, but they can hear you, Paul. So let me try
Okay,
and
so it's
figure
good.
out why they
I
can't
don't
hear
hear
me.
just you guys don't want to hear just me today, trust me. Static. Who's on? Who is that talking?
My wife, she came downstairs to tell me she can hear me. So, all
That's awesome.
right, let's see here. My setup seems to be fine. I'm not sure why I can't be heard online. Yep, unless my audio is in pretty well. I can see the audio meters coming into OBS. Let me check quickly on my phone. Okay. Oh, that's fine. I can hear myself on online. Maybe something with headphone. All right, guys, in the comments, if you can hear me, leave a comment as well.
Yeah.
Um, I think we're good to get started. So
Cool,
let's
buddy.
get started, Paul.
Let's do it, man.
Thank you for
You want to
joining
kick it
me
off?
live today. I know we've been talking about, doing something together for maybe what, about a year now?
Yeah, I think so.
And finally,
I-
we have gotten to the point where we can actually get
We've done
something
some video
together.
stuff.
Yeah.
We've done some video stuff though, which is
Yeah, we've
cool.
done some
Yeah.
on our usual get out and
Yeah.
shoot walks.
Mm. Those were the days, man.
Yep, yep.
Those were the days.
So I think we're gonna get started off with letting our viewers know, why we are having this live show today. Just a little bit of, a little bit of a background story of why we're here. So Paul, maybe you can get started, and then I'll join you.
Sure, sure. So, um, I mean, this whole topic of the live YouTube is how to stay motivated with making things, and I think this live YouTube is just a prime example of why we're doing it. 'Cause it's so easy not to do, like it's so easy not to make content or not to make photos or not to make videos. Like it's so easy not to do it, especially now because there's just so much stuff going on. It's easy to get bogged down. So the fact that we're even doing this, I think, is a huge accomplishment. You
Yep,
know,
yep,
whether
that's
we have
true.
one view or 1,000 viewers, it doesn't really matter. It's just the fact of like we're actually doing it. So my whole mentality is like just start like somewhere. Like it doesn't have to be complicated. It can be very, very simple.
Yep.
And hopefully we can share some tips on how to kind of stay motivated, how to get ideas, how to stay focused, and just have like a routine. Especially now, I think having a routine is super important. And yeah, and I think people can also share their own knowledge too. I'm not an expert by any means, but I think people have their own ways of making content, and I think their ideas are just as valuable as ours, which is so great about the meetups. Like when we did the meetups before this whole thing happened, is like we all got together and we all shared ideas, which is fantastic. And now we can't do that. So what do we do? Not share? Like we just stay home and not talk to anybody? So it's so important to just keep doing whatever it is that we're doing before this.
And not letting the stress of, because sometimes when you are locked in and you're not doing much, right, you get stressed out, you get bogged down, you're thinking about, oh, other stuff that is happening, especially if you have family and the kids are driving you crazy. But just keep that motivation going, that even though you're locked in and you can't go out, you still can do something, share with the community in one way or the other.
When we say creating, like it doesn't have to be limited to just video and photography, even though those are two main pillars of like the world right now. But it can be anything. It could be journaling, right? It could be painting. It could be I don't know, crossword puzzles. It could be Lego. Like, don't limit yourself to just photography and video. Like, you don't need to, because maybe you're not into that. Maybe it doesn't make you want to make stuff, right? Like, I don't know. I think making things is a way of therapy too, whatever form it is. Like video, you can talk about how you're feeling, what you're going through, and it's like therapy. But painting's also therapy too. Like whatever it is you're feeling, you paint it.
Yep, I think so. Personally, I normally just do, how my videos go. I just sit down and do the talking
Yeah,
head stuff, and I
yeah,
do gear reviews and tutorials when I can. But in the last couple of weeks, I've done a couple of live streams, and I think it
yeah.
gives a new way of reaching out to your audience. It gives a new
Sure.
way of
Action.
just getting a different kind of target audience that needs to be there. And for me, it's more like the interaction, right? It's more interactive. People can hang
Action.
out live
People
in the
want to be.
chats,
Yeah.
and you get stuff going.
Buddy, when we did like the live IG and the live Zoom with the meetup group, like it was just so good just to see someone's face.
Ah,
People just want to see people.
one of my regular guys is in the chat. He said my volume is really low, so let me try to see if I can
Yeah.
bring up my volume a little bit. Exalted one, hey, how you doing? Thanks for joining us. So Paul, keep talking. I'm gonna just check my volume in the back of my camera to make sure that it's not set too low.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. No, I just think it's really important to just try to make what
And something is not right, it's not perfect. And I realize, in talking to you, that it doesn't necessarily have to be perfect, right?
does, and it won't.
Just putting out something out there for
Yeah,
yeah, you work on it, you improve on it, but just
yeah,
having that avenue to put it out
sure.
there all the time, um, you put it out, you watch it yourself, you get criticized by the people, and you
Sure.
figure out what to improve for the
That's
next one,
cool.
right?
I'm cool with being critical. I mean, as long as it's constructive, I'm cool with
Yep.
it. I mean, like first of all, if your intent at the start is to share the video or share the photo or share the drawing or share the paint, if your intent is to share it, you should share it. If your intent is not to share it and just for yourself, keep it to yourself. But if your intent is that you want to make it public, then you should try to make it public. I
Correct.
mean,
Correct.
for you not to, if your intent is, if you don't share it, then I don't know. It just kind of makes you not want to do the next one.
Yep. Yep.
And you just gotta like just keep going, like just keep going. That's the whole thing about it. Because people get caught up in the numbers, right? Numbers and subs and views and likes and all this
And
crazy.
likes. Yep.
Like it doesn't really matter. Like you have to ask yourself why are you doing this in the first place? Like why?
Correct.
What's the purpose?
Yeah,
You know,
so that's the whole thing. You gotta have a purpose while you're doing it, right?
what
It,
like
it,
why?
it may be just your sharing on Instagram, or you just be you're just taking it to learn, right? There should always be a purpose. So even
Wait,
if you're not just basically sharing it all the time, you could just be using it for educational purposes, educating yourself. What did I do right this time? What did I do wrong that time? Right?
yeah.
And you learn from it and you move on.
Always, yeah. You always, whenever, like, I always go through the videos and say, what went well, what could be improved, and then you just take those notes for the next one and just try to improve. And then from that one, there'll be other stuff, and it builds right after a year, 2 years. Like you're gonna see, like if I go back to my videos from like January of last year, it's like, oh my god, what happened, right? Like
Exactly.
the first vlog I made in 2019 with like the meetup group, it was in a freaking snowstorm, minus 20 degrees. Like there was every reason for me not to make the video, but I made it. And that was the very, very first one. and now here we are, right? So it just got to keep building, right? You got to keep going. It can be very, very simple. Very, very
Yep.
simple. I
Yep.
watch a lot of Gary Vee.
True. True.
A lot of
Yeah. So like I said before, the funny thing, before I started to join your group, right, the Get Out and Shoot group. If you look on my channel, which was I think sometime last year,
yeah.
I think the first meetup I joined you guys was at the
Credit.
Pod Credit. Yeah, Pod Credit
Yeah.
was the first one.
Yeah.
I did a little short video, put it up on on YouTube,
Yeah.
and since then I decided that I took your advice about not waiting for everything to be perfect, right? And
Won't
so
be.
I started and I said everything I do, no matter how small, how little it is, I'm just gonna post it.
Yeah.
And so I started posting consistently,
Hmm.
and it's been there's been a lot of improvement. There's been a lot of growth. There's been a lot of new things that I've learned along the way.
Yeah.
But the key thing is not to be bothered about criticism. As long as it's constructive, take it and let it
Yeah.
help you to move to the next step.
Always. Always. I mean, I don't know. For me personally, I've had minimal comments about saying, "Oh, you suck." It's just more of like great job. I don't know, that's my experience, but
Yep.
I could be like very like sheltered. I could be very sheltered channel. I don't know, right? But yeah, I don't know. Like that stuff doesn't bother me, man. Like people saying like it doesn't bother me. Like for me personally, be like, cool, cool. But where's your video? Like you make it. You show me how it's done. You know what I mean? Like that's my mentality. You tell me how it's done, and then we can talk.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
It doesn't really get me.
I haven't have any much. I don't think I've seen any negative comments on my channel so far. They've all been positive, and most majority of my guys have been very constructive. So they tell you
Yeah,
maybe you can
yeah.
do better this way, and I
Lighting,
take
sound.
those and work with it.
I
Right?
didn't go to school for. I didn't go to school for this, man. I
True.
didn't go to school
True.
for this.
I
I
didn't go
just
to
picked up a
school for
camera.
this. It's just
I just picked up a camera and started to go, and here
yep.
we are. We're doing a live stream on YouTube. So
Yeah.
I mean, for it's very easy to like. Again, it goes back to like comparison, right? You watch the Peter McKinnons of the world or the Matties of the world, and it's like, oh man, I wish I could have all this stuff. But at one point they started where we're starting.
Exactly.
Live YouTube with probably 6 viewers. So it's just you gotta put in the time, and you gotta be willing to work at it, and you gotta have fun, right? You
Yep.
gotta
Yep.
remember fun,
Yeah. It's true.
not
You gotta have
lost.
fun. So, Paul, before this whole COVID-19 situation, what motivated you?
Yeah. So I guess with like the channel, I mean, the whole reason why I started the channel is because I wanted to like showcase the meetup group. I don't know people there that may not know the meetup group. Get Out Shoot Toronto meetup. We used to do weekly meetups. Now we're doing virtual ones. But I mean, we're such a diverse um, group that I wanted to kind of showcase the group and kind of like their story with photography, their tips and tricks. And, I did that all last year and it went really, really well. And I mean, essentially, because we did meetups every week, it got me to do a video every week. So that was the motivation, right? Whether the video was good or bad, it didn't really matter. Just make the video, right? So you want to get into that habit. So that was kind of my process. Every week I knew there was a meetup, did the video, edited it, uploaded it that same week, and that was good to go. And then from there, I started to do kind of like my own vlogs, like whatever I was talking about, Lightroom, or like walking around by myself, taking photos at sunset, kind of giving some tips on how to do sunset photography. Kind of did my own stuff, like apart from Get Out Shoot, and that was going really well too. So I mean, it was just great that you could leave the house and do it, right? You could leave and go down to the lake and do like, okay, guys, today's video is going to be a sunset photo, and this is how you're going to shoot it. And also the fact that I met you and a few other people that were into video. Cody Warner had a meetup in February, which was amazing. There were probably 50 vloggers there, and it was just a great way just to like collaborate and get ideas and perspectives and like learn. So that's kind of like I was trying to do more of that before this whole thing happened. To be honest, I was trying to look for more groups. I actually posted on the No Small Creator Toronto Facebook group where Cody posted the meetup. Said, "You guys want to do another creator meetup?" But no one responded. Like I know I'm not famous, but we don't need Cody to do a meetup. Like there's 40 vloggers here. Why don't we just get together and do like a collab or something? But no one responded. I didn't really understand that. So I was trying to do more of that before this whole thing happened. I was trying to like branch out into more like video stuff, and then this whole thing happened. So I had to, as we all did, had to retool
Yeah.
and try to find things at home to talk about,
Yeah.
which is cool.
It's
It's
just
kind of cool
cool.
to push the boundaries.
Yeah.
It's
So
interesting for a while. I don't know about 3 months, but
yeah, for me, it was more like having something to do, a hobby, right? To do outside of work, outside of
yeah, it's a hobby.
as
It's a
a hobby,
de-stressor.
right?
It's a
Um,
de-stressor.
I've been doing wedding videos, wedding photos for a
Yeah,
while. But outside of those and getting to work, going to church, coming home, there was nothing else
yeah,
happening, right? So
yeah,
starting up the YouTube channel gave me something, somewhere to share some of my knowledge and be more creative, right?
yeah.
For me, it's not about knowing too much, so I want to share. It's more about learning. So for
Hmm.
my channel, what I do is I share what I learn. So it's
Yeah.
not like I know too much. It's like um, as I learn, I give
People,
out, right? So
people,
that was my motivation. It's learning and being able to share. That way, I don't forget what I've learned. I'm
yeah,
consistently practicing what I'm learning, so it
yeah,
helps me improve on certain things and stuff like that, right?
yes.
You like the simple way, right? I
I just
watch
pick up
you.
the camera and start talking gibberish.
Paul is the simple way, right? I like the gear stuff, right?
It's cool. We're a good team, man. It's a good
so
team.
so
That's a good
that's
team,
that's the
man.
two things, right? You take the simple approach,
Yeah.
and I take the simple approach most of the time,
Right.
but sometimes too I go on the gear side, take a look at what's new, what
Yeah.
because I have a tech background, and so
Yeah.
technology interests me, right? So I'd like to take out a look at the gear, see how they work, see how the things are put together, and I share that back with the community,
Yeah.
what I discover, what I learn from those stuff.
Yeah.
So
We should collab, man.
yeah.
Jeez, sounds really good.
Yeah.
Sounds really good. No, it's good, man. I mean, I mean, again, it goes back to like, why are you doing it, right? You're
Yeah.
doing it for the gear. I'm doing it more for like the story. They both work. It's fantastic. It's so cool, right? I mean, that's what's so good about like, the times that we're living in. You can do anything you want and put it out in the world. You don't have to wait for someone to hire you, right? Like
Correct.
even now, like we just went on. We didn't have to ask anybody,
Yep. We didn't
which is
have to wait.
fantastic.
We didn't have to
No,
plan too much.
no.
Um,
Just said,
you
hey, you
know.
want to get on? Yeah, sure, we'll jump on. So that's what's so good, and that's why people need to, if they want to get into making things, like all the tools are here for you, right? You go on YouTube. You want to learn how to paint? Go on a YouTube channel. You
Yep.
want to learn how to make a shed? Go, like it's all there for you. It's just you got to put in the time, right? Like I don't know. I try, like, again, like you said, I try to keep things simple for me. Like just
Yep. Yep.
simplify. Like, okay,
Simplify it.
because I don't want to get bogged down with all this extra stuff because I'm not
Extra
going to
stuff.
do it.
Yep.
That's the thing, right?
It's true.
So
It's true.
I don't know. Especially now, right? Like I did a video last week about trying to document yourself, especially now, because in 20 years from now, who knows? Maybe your grandchildren are going to look, going to ask you, "Oh, you lived through the COVID-19 pandemic? Oh yeah, yeah. I did all these videos, or have all these notes, or have all these photographs from back then,
Yep.
from 20 years ago, right?" So like you never know, right? Like if you want to try to document what's going on, I mean, it could be very, very valuable later on. It's
True.
hard because you're living it right now. It's hard to see, but 20 years from now, it could be valuable. So journaling, very easy. Just jot notes, how you're feeling, what the weather was.
Yep.
Simple, right?
That's very true. I haven't stepped out as much. And well, for me, even though we're all in lockdown, I have a park that that's one of the things that I miss right now. Like there is a park, maybe um, it's a conservation area, five
Yeah,
minutes walk from my house.
yeah,
That used to be my creative zone, right? So
right.
whenever I'm bored, I just step out to that park, and I know the park inside out. So I just go out there. And that's where I used to do all my practice and stuff. But now
Yeah,
I can't really go because
yeah,
everything is on lockdown. But it's still not, you know, doesn't mean you can create something. You can do something. You can set up in the living room, right? Like do something.
there's always something. I mean, it's just it's so easy just to like watch the news or watch social media. So you need a routine or something like be in the morning, the afternoon, you're going to paint or you're going to write for that couple hours just to take your mind. You just feel better when you do something productive.
Yep.
That's the way I see it. Like you just feel good. It's like exercise. Like I was talking to someone yesterday, and they're saying, "Oh, you're still doing meetups?" And I said, "Yeah, we're still doing meetups. I mean, it's like exercise. You still have to do it. Like just because we're stuck here doesn't mean we're not going to do it. You still have to do it in some fashion. You know, right now it's like I'm in prison. I have like 1 hour outside to do a run, and then I have to come back. So, um, I don't know. That's just the way I see it. Like you still need to find a way to do it somehow, and that's why we're doing these virtual meetups. So I'm
Yep.
trying to think of an idea for this weekend.
All right. So that leads us right
Yeah.
into our next talking point, right? We want to see what the impact has been so far on creators. So from your
Yeah.
end, because I know you've been doing this mainly as for the walks and as a hobby
Hmm.
that you do for both the videos and photos, right?
Yeah.
So for your end, what has been like the impact for you?
The impact is that I'm not able to talk to people. Like I'm not able to include people in the videos, which I think was my main driving force in making the content. I like people getting to talk a little bit and open up. So now that I can't do it and just myself, it's forcing me to think of other ideas. I don't mind doing a video by myself, but I think there's more power with a group dynamic because you get different personalities and different viewpoints. I think that's a little bit more interesting than just me talking. So I think that's impacted. Um, I'm trying to make funny videos. I mean, these videos that I made the past couple of while, they're just for kicks. Like it was just how I felt that day. When I did the video about toilet paper, it's like, all right, I'll do it. Let's do this. Let's do this video about toilet paper,
Yeah.
and that was fun. I mean, I felt good about that. But I mean, that really pushed like the creative boundary, right? Because I really had to think about it. But yeah, it kind of sucks not to be able to get people included. So I'm not sure when that's going to change, right? So I don't know if I want to get my family in the videos. I'm not sure that's going to be exciting. I don't know. They're not really into photography, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough, right?
It is. For me, there's been a couple of different sort of impacts because um, I do weddings, I do wedding
Yeah,
photos, wedding
exactly. They're
videos.
all postponed, right?
Yeah. So now so far I've had about 3 weddings that has been moved up. Well, I haven't had any canceled yet, right? All they're doing is just moving the dates around to see when they can get it done, which is still good.
Yeah,
But no new bookings because
yeah,
everybody's kind of waiting to see what's gonna
yeah.
happen.
Tough.
Um, the good thing for me is that I wasn't doing this full time.
Yeah, you have a
Um, so it's really financially it hasn't really impacted me
yeah,
because I wasn't doing this full time. But for those that were doing this full time, and that's their whole
yeah.
livelihood, the
Tough, man.
impact has been really tough, right?
Tough,
It's
tough.
really
They're gonna have to
impact has
apply
been
on the
really tough.
benefits, right?
Yeah,
I think they would have to apply for the benefits, right?
yeah,
Some capacity.
yeah.
Yeah, it's difficult, man. Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of talk at the start, like people shouldn't be making videos because it'd be pretty insensitive. But I don't know. I think people need content more than ever because they want to distract themselves.
Yeah,
So I was a little bit hesitant about just making videos because I was like, what's the point? But I think now is the time to dive in and just make something. Like even if you just watch someone else's video, just and you think you can do it better, try to do it better.
yep.
Like, hey, I was
Try
watching,
to recreate the same video,
yeah,
make it
yeah.
better.
Say hey,
All right.
just hey, I was watching Paul's video about toilet paper. This is my approach. Like something so silly. But I mean, if you think you can do better, I think that'd be pretty cool. Someone can do. I mean, that'd be pretty cool. If someone say, hey, man, I can do your video better. I think that'd be pretty cool, man.
Yep.
I think that would be a compliment, to be honest with you.
True.
So, yeah, I mean, there's just so many ways. I mean, you can even write a book if you always wanted to write a book, write a short story. Like how you said, your clip that you sent in for the mashup vlog. You said you guys need to prepare yourself or try to prepare yourself for the next step.
Yeah, what? Because
Never in this scope.
I think that when all this is said and done, right,
It's gonna be a different
there's going to be a
world.
lot more opportunities that is going to be opened, right? So for me, my line of thought is this: even though you're now stuck indoors, not being able to go out, my plan is take the opportunity to learn a new skill,
Yeah,
right?
100%.
Improve on your
100%.
skills. Take some courses, online courses. Take some.
They're free now too.
Yeah,
They're
yeah,
free.
it's free.
There's so many free
So
courses
many
right now.
people are
Free.
offering free courses out there.
Yeah.
Take
Yeah.
advantage of some of these. Learn new skills. If you're a
Yeah.
photographer who doesn't do video, maybe this is the time for you to pick up
Yeah.
your camera and try to
Yeah.
learn how to do
Sure.
video, right?
There's,
Because that's the way to go. For me, what I see is, like I said, I used to do photos only, but I had
yeah.
to learn video, and now I like doing video more than
You like
photos.
video more than photo. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
funny, right? It's
because
funny how it works.
the thing is this: as a photographer, at one point somebody's gonna ask you, "Can you do a video?" Because you have the camera, you have all the tools in your
Yeah.
hands
Yeah.
to do video, right? And
Hmm.
it's for me, it's a bonus point if I can offer both services to a client at the same time
Yeah.
and give them a
100%.
discount. Right. So it's a time to learn something new. Go out there, learn
It's,
a new skill, pick up an online course. I'm doing that both in my creative career as well as in my professional career. I'm taking a course right now
yeah.
for some examinations that I need to do. I have the time, so why don't I manage that time to get some exams and stuff preparations done? Improve my career, improve my creativity, both ways, right? And I have a
100%.
feeling that when this all isn't over, there's going to be a lot of opportunities opening, but you need to prepare yourself for that instead of
Yeah.
focusing
You need to
on
be
what is
ready.
happening right now and being
You need to,
sad or depressed about the situation.
you need to use the time, man.
Yep.
You need to use the time because this is time that you normally wouldn't have, right? You need to look at it that way. This is time that you normally wouldn't
Wouldn't have.
have.
Yep.
You wouldn't. You wouldn't. You'd be wherever. So you need to use it some. I don't know. I mean, this whole thing is a wake up call. I think for the world, like what's happening, right? Like,
Yep. So true.
so we'll see what happens once this thing is over. Like we'll see. We'll see, right? There's gonna be a lot of new creators, hopefully.
Yep. Very true.
Yeah. Always be creative, man. That's my motto. To always like at least make something every day, whatever it is. Doesn't have to be great. Just make something. Keeps the mind going.
It keeps the mind going, right? Right.
It's a habit too. You make that habit, right? It's like exercise, right? You get that habit down, you're more inclined to do it.
Yeah.
So, but got to put in the time too, right?
Yep. So next thing we want to talk about maybe some ideas that you may want to share, but for somebody who is right now sitting at home trying to figure it out, I'm stuck. I'm in my living room. What can I
Sure,
do? Right.
sure,
Some ideas that maybe somebody can try at home. Simple stuff. I remember the one you posted up on the online meetup was a great one. The one about trying that was it the flat lay
flat
thing.
lay, yeah, flat lay, yeah. The challenge,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, that kind of stuff. That's really
Simple,
creative, right? It's
simple, but people like crushed it though. Like you saw the
Yeah, I
photos,
saw the
they
photos.
crushed.
Were
People
really good.
crushed it. People crushed that challenge. Huh? It's like my photo was actually the worst of them all. It's like okay, cool guys. It
did,
was, but
did
anyway,
did you see? I
oh,
didn't even bother sharing mine. After I
you
saw the photos that people were posting, I
oh,
said,
crushing it.
I didn't
It's
share
good.
it.
You're good. But it's so simple, right? Like flat lay, even just like your lunch, like just use some lights, use a couple of accessories.
Yeah.
You never know. You got to pay attention. I don't know. For someone that's just starting, I mean, first of all, find out what you like to do. What is it that you like to make? Figure that out first, and then figure out what you're passionate about, like talking about or expressing yourself, or like what is it that you want to share. I think that's super important because it kind of gives you focus on what you're trying to do. Figure that. I think that's the second step. Third step would probably be start simple. So, for example, if it's like a story, if you want to become a writer, do a short story, 500 words. Do you want to do a video? Do like a minute video. Do you want to do a photo? Take a photo in your backyard. Like you need to start small. You're not going to become famous overnight. So just start very tiny and then build upon it. Eventually, like you're gonna get into the habit if you like doing it. You get into the habit, and just your ideas will build and build and build. It'll get bigger and bigger and bigger, right? Like, and then probably forward, just keep going. Like we
Yeah.
were talking about before, like people like saying whatever. It's like I don't know. I mean, everyone's different, so I mean, it's easy for me to say it doesn't bother me, but it really doesn't bother me. But for some people, it does bother them. I know someone that had a YouTube channel and they got a lot of comments and it really affected them and they shut down their YouTube channel. So I don't know. It's different for everyone. So it's not, I mean, it's not fair for me to say really, but I mean, you just got to keep going. I mean, the world's a big place, man. There's a lot of people. You just got to find your group, like maybe you're in the wrong group.
Yeah.
Maybe you need to change your circle. You got to go to a meetup and meet some other people. Maybe they can support you. That's what I would also suggest is find like-minded people, especially in the creative world, because I think that is super key.
Yep.
Support, ideas, encouragement, all that stuff, right? Just to have like-minded people, I think is super important because, I wasn't really into photography before I joined Get Out Shoot. I mean, I was, but not really. And then I joined Get Out Shoot, and then here we are, right? So you never know. You never know who you're going to meet. You just don't know. So also be open-minded.
Yep. And that's one of the things that I miss the most, right? I was telling you the other day, I've been really busy and I haven't been able to make most of the meetups that we've had, right? And I was just sitting down thinking about it and I said, when the meetups were there, when we could actually go out and do something, we were too busy to go out and do them. But now we have so much time on our hands, yet we can go and do the same thing, right?
And that was so great about it.
Yeah.
So, I think meeting like-minded people is so key. And then, I mean, Toronto's a very saturated city for meetups. I mean, it could be different for different cities, but you can find a meetup for anything in Toronto. So if people are online or in Toronto, you can find a meetup for anything. And I would suggest joining a meetup, and once you're able to meet, go and meet, because you never know what you're going to learn, right? And like I said, be open-minded because it's so easy just to be caught in your own lane. I'm guilty of this all the time. Oh no, this is the way, and then people show me, no, do this. I'm like, oh yeah, you're right. Happens to me all the time, and I say, oh yeah, you're right, man. It's cool. So gotta expand your
territory.
you need to because I mean, we're all equal, right? We all we're all entitled. So my way's not better than your way. Your way's not better than my way. We're all here to share. So, and then you just keep going, man. I don't know. It's you just keep doing stuff and try to keep meeting as many people as possible. Social media, right? You never know. You never know when this live YouTube is going to blow up, and then we'll be on Gary Vee tomorrow or something.
It's true.
Gary Vee does he does a 2-hour morning show every morning. You know that?
Who?
He does a 2-hour morning show Gary Vee.
Oh wow.
He does a 2-hour morning show every morning because of this whole thing going on. Wow. And he's just taking calls for 2 hours. Every morning he's doing this.
Oh, we got a shout out from Russell.
Hey, what's up, Russell? Are you making sense? Am I making sense? I don't know. I just talking. I don't even know what I'm talking about sometimes.
No, you're making sense.
Okay, cool.
I think we got a question from the Exalted One. Okay. He says, what's your favorite editing software for video and photos? And do you use Illustrator?
No. Premiere. I'm an Adobe dude. So Lightroom for photo and Premiere for video.
Yeah, me too.
And please, Adobe sponsor me.
Yeah, me too. I've been using Adobe since I started. So I've used Adobe for maybe 6-7 years. However, for video,
you told me last week.
Yeah, for video, recently I've started looking into DaVinci Resolve.
Yeah.
Just because at some point I want to get away from Adobe because of that subscription payment thing. Because you never stop paying for that software.
Locked in for life, man.
Yeah, whereas DaVinci is free, and if you want to buy the pro version, it's just $250 one-time fee, right?
Yeah.
So.
And you told me about the Audio Hero thing.
Yeah,
the other day, right?
Yeah. So for audio, I'm just leveraging Audio Hero for my audio right now. Like I said, I used to take audio with Epidemic.
Yeah.
But I'm these days my whole mindset is cut down on cost.
Yeah, I hear you.
Cut down on all these subscription stuff, right? so
I'm just gonna vlog on
Um,
my phone soon.
yeah, so I used to pay maybe what $20 for Epidemic,
Yeah,
and
22.
then 22 something. I cut it
Yeah,
out. So what I do is I just do TubeBuddy for $10, and
right.
it comes with Audio Hero for free. So basically, I get both my
I,
audio as well as my
hack, man.
SEO
You should do
tool
a video on that.
for
You
less.
should do a video on that. You should do a
Yeah,
video on
I
that. Like,
might put up something soon on it.
shit, it's a hack, man. That's a
But
hack. People don't know that. That's what
yeah,
I'm saying.
yeah,
Like I wanted to explain to that point. Assume your audience doesn't know anything,
yep,
right?
yep.
Even like a basic Lightroom edit. I did a video about like, if you want to see if you want to have a quick look at how your photo could look, just click the auto button on Lightroom, and I'll just show you what the
Show you.
what
Yep,
Lightroom thinks. You can
yep,
see, but some people don't know that. But
yep,
it's so, it's kind of basic. I don't know, but assume they don't know. Like I was saying, you just brought up that tube buddy hack.
yep.
A lot of people probably don't know, man. And trust me, like you probably get some traction on that video. You should probably look into doing that.
Yep, I'll look at it. I've been thinking also, you know how we're doing this live stream stuff, right? With the corona and everybody being home, trying to put up and see if I can put up some tutorials on setting up a live stream and that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
to see
Hey,
people who
just
want to start
yeah,
the
exactly.
online stuff,
People
right?
don't know. Assume they don't know. Assume because there's always going to be a couple of people that don't know, and they're going to find value in that content,
Yep.
which I think is a huge win. You can teach one person. Awesome. That's so awesome, right? So, um, yeah, I like it. How often like how long does it take you to edit your video on average? Like I
Um,
just like a normal
it
gear
depends.
vid.
It depends on the type of video I'm making. If I'm making a review on a product, it takes me longer because I like to put in a lot more B-roll of the product itself. I
Yeah.
try to get a lot of shots for that particular, especially if it's a lens. I want to make sure I'm using it as much as possible to test out every scenario. So it
Yeah.
it, but on a normal talking head where I'm not doing too much of a B-roll, I
Yeah.
can finish a video in maybe 3 hours, 4 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And that's with music and everything, right?
that the music and this and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Takes a
it
while to
takes a
find good
while.
music
Yeah.
sometimes. Takes a
Yeah.
while.
If it's simple, yeah, I can do some quick jobs sometimes. I've done some videos in maybe an hour, right? But it
Mm,
all depends on what's involved, right? If it's just a talking head video without too much cutaways,
yeah.
then yeah, within an hour, because I record. What I do is I record the audio directly into the camera. Everything is already synced. I'm not doing much
Right.
post processing for my YouTube. Right? A while back, I used to shoot everything in log profile, but
Yeah.
in for YouTube, I stopped shooting log because
Mm.
I don't want to spend that extra time color grading and stuff. So I use just a flat profile, straight out of the
Yeah.
camera, ready to go.
Uh,
Yeah,
I gotta get better at color grading all that craziness. I don't know. I can't spend hours just color grading something. But I'm sure eventually there's gonna be a time where I'm gonna want to color grade. Like now I'm like really, really like picky about audio. Like super picky. Like the video that I'm doing now for the mashup, super picky about audio, man. Because the audio levels, because everyone's clips are different levels. So now I gotta like kind of smooth it out.
yeah. One thing I always say to people is that it doesn't matter how good your video looks. If your audio
Yeah.
sucks, people are not going to pay attention.
Yeah,
Right.
I
So
agree.
in video, audio is 50% of the whole thing. It's 50-50.
Mhm.
The audio is gonna be good, the video is gonna be good. If you have a see, sometimes even if your audio quality your video quality sucks, but your audio is good, people will still watch it. Right. But if
Mm.
you have it the opposite way around and the audio sucks, people are just gonna pass you by, right? So
Makes
I
sense.
always put a lot of effort into my audio.
Yeah, I'm really picky about audio now, man. And then in a few months it's gonna be color grading. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Do you like when you use Premiere? Did you shoot in 4K first of all? Anyway, did you shoot in 4K or 1080?
Yes. So I shoot in 4K
Yeah,
for YouTube, unless
yeah.
I want to do slow mo. So when I'm doing shooting anything in slow mo, I shoot
Hmm.
in 1080p because my camera, my Sony A7 III, and even my A6400, they do 1080p in 120 frames,
Right,
right? So I
right.
can bring it in and slow it down 5 times. But what happens is sometimes I edit on a 10K timeline,
Yeah.
but then I export in 4K.
In 4K,
Yes,
and that makes a
that
difference.
makes a big difference.
It makes a big
Yeah,
difference. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
So basically, this is what I do. If the video, if everything is going to be, if there's no slow mo and everything is shot in 4K, yes, I will edit on the 4K timeline. But
Mm-hmm.
if I'm mixing 1080p and 4K, I will edit everything on the 4K on the 1080 timeline and
Right, right,
export in
right.
4K for YouTube.
Mm.
Yeah, it's a little hack.
Got
It's a
it.
little hack because
Yeah. It's a
YouTube
bit.
kind of give preference to 4K videos, right? So even if your
Yeah.
camera doesn't shoot 4K, that's fine. Shoot in 1080p, but after you
Mm-hmm.
edit during the export process, you can upsample to
Yeah, that's what I
4K.
do because my little Mac can't handle 4K, so I shoot in 1080 and export as 4K.
Yeah,
I don't if that works. We'll see.
yeah.
Little hack I learned, but
Russell says this could be a podcast, guys.
oh, that's what I'm saying. Like we were,
Yeah, we'll see
we
how
have
it
to.
goes,
We have
right? We keep this
should
up
be
all the
podcast.
time.
I'm telling you, man.
Sit
Like
down, hang out, and chat.
um, that's what it is, man. Like I don't. I've always wanted to do a podcast for like a couple of years. It just honestly, like podcasts work with two people
Yeah, yeah.
because talking by yourself is meh. It's not so
No, it's
interesting. But you get
not.
that
Yeah,
back and forth.
yeah.
You get that back and forth. That's
That's
interesting,
true. So you
especially
you
when there's
can
a
look
really
at
good.
my live streams from the other times. They're good because they are informational, right?
Yeah,
But with that
yeah.
interaction is always good. So whenever you have two
You need
people,
you,
it's better.
you need a little bit of banter
Yep.
because you know. But yeah, I've always wanted to do a podcast, man, for a couple of years. So maybe this could be like the start of it. I don't know. I like talking for some reason, which is funny because I was really shy when I was growing up, right? Like super shy. So strange how life works out sometimes,
Yep.
right? But I don't know. We're all in the same boat, right? Like I was gonna say, like everyone's in the same boat. Like we're all at home, so no one's going to exotic islands and doing like a travel vlog. Everyone's at home in their basement, so you should use it as like a level playing field,
Yep. Yep.
right? So it goes back to the point of someone did a video about whatever toilet paper. Okay, I can do it better.
Yeah.
Because everyone's on the same playing field now. Gear and all that stuff, sure, I get it, but like just like the basic concept of a video, it opens it wide up. In my opinion, it opens it wide up.
Yep.
So we'll see what people do, right?
Yep.
Like
Yep.
it's going to be interesting to see how many creators come out of this, like get really big,
Yep.
and they're really small before this because they just put in so much
So much
time, right? Like,
time,
oh,
so
it's
much
like, I'm
effort.
not
Yep. It's
working,
true.
whatever. I'm not working, whatever the case is. Putting all this time in now, right?
Yep. Hey guys, as
So
you're watching, don't forget to check out Paul's channel as well. I've put his link in the description. Subscribe to him because the next time we go live is going to be on his channel, right? So
yeah,
go check
exciting.
it out, guys. Subscribe to
I
Paul.
don't even know that. I didn't even know about OBS before yesterday.
Yeah.
All the stuff I'm learning. It's so great.
Yeah.
So yeah, just download all the stuff. We're gonna send a rocket ship to Mars or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I'm down to do this, whatever, weekly, monthly, whatever you want to do. I have lots of ideas. I have lots of ideas. I would actually love to have people come
there's a
talk.
question in the chat. It says, "Hey guys, have you used Handbrake for video editing?"
What is that? It's a software.
Yeah. So
Handbrake?
Handbrake, yeah.
What's that?
So I've used Handbrake in the past, but it's not really an editor. Let me see. Handbrake.
Handbrake? Never heard of
It's a little utility that's really great, especially when you want to transcode a video. I've used it in the past to convert video formats because sometimes
Yeah.
you have some video formats and you try to edit it in Premiere or something like that, and you get an error where Premiere can't open it or something like that. I use Handbrake to do that conversion. It's also good for compressing large files. So you know how sometimes your 4K files can be really huge.
Yeah.
If you want to create smaller versions, Handbrake can take that file and compress it down to save space.
Hmm.
Yeah, but I
Never
wouldn't
heard.
say it's a video editor because it's not.
Not a editor.
It's just a transcoder that can help you
Right.
kind of reduce your file sizes and stuff.
Okay. Gotta write that one down. Cool, man.
Yeah. And then
Whose question was that? Do I?
Obiba LT. Hey
Oh,
Lennox,
is
how
that
you
your?
doing? So there's another question that says,
Yeah,
what's an entry level inexpensive 4K camera that you would recommend?
my camera, the Lumix G7.
What do you use? The G7?
Cheap and it does the job.
Mm,
That's what I'm saying. Like you got to start small. Don't buy the most expensive gear if you're just starting because you may not like it. Then you're
true.
stuck with expensive gear.
Yep.
So start with inexpensive gear. If you like doing it, then you can eventually upgrade. But don't
Correct.
make yourself stuck with a $2,500 camera body. Like the G7 is like what, $500-600.
Yep.
Does 4K, does built-in time lapse, does 60 frames per second. I mean, it does the job if you want to make a video.
Yep.
So start there. Anyway, that's what I use.
Yeah. The G7 it's a good starting point. For the price, right? It's pretty low. But what I always also tell people is that don't always look for new, right? Especially when it comes to camera body. Camera bodies, they depreciate really fast, right? So even if you can get something used that is
Yep.
still in good condition, grab it, right? So the
Yeah.
G7 is a good one. I would
The M50.
recommend
The M50.
the M50. Yeah. The only problem I don't like about the M50 is that crop. It's too much of a crop, right? So you need really wide angle lenses with that. I would recommend maybe the A60-100, but that's a little pricey. That's on the high end budget entry, right? So the G7 is a good one for the price. The M50 is also good for the price. Those two for entry level should get you going, even with their kit lights. Right.
Yeah. I would honestly more focus on what again, it goes back to why are you doing why do you want to make a video? Like what's
what
the
are you
purpose?
using? Yep.
I would focus more on that. I would focus more on why are you doing it? What are you trying to make? What are you trying to share? What are you trying to get out of it? What are you hoping to learn? I would more focus there. And the gear is important, absolutely, but I mean, you need content.
Yep.
You could have the most expensive camera in the world, but if you don't have any ideas, what good is there, right?
Yep.
So
Yep.
I don't know.
The exalted one says Sony Alpha series. Yeah. I'm a Sony guy. I shoot Sony. I love my Sonys. Trust me, if you use any of the Sonys, actually, you could also for 4K. So if you're looking at 4K, then maybe the A6300, which is right now really discounted because of the introduction of the A61. The A6300 in the Sony side will be a good starting point. And yeah, especially if you're looking at video side, if you're going into video, I will recommend the Sony route because of the video features that it packs, right? So maybe the A6300 to start off with would be fine. I personally, I don't care about the camera specs. Trust me, I have a camcorder here that sometimes I use. Sometimes I use this camcorder for some of my videos where I use this to shoot B-roll and behind the scenes. Right, especially when I need overhead rigs, I use this for my overhead rigs. This
I like it. That's
this
cool.
I
like
got
that.
for like $50, right? So it's not about the camera per se. It's more about learning how to use what you have.
Yes.
Right? You gotta know 100%. The limitation of the camera that is in your hands and know how far you can push it to get what you need out of it. To me, that's more important.
100%. I understand how to use what you have. I totally agree. Totally agree. Works for video and for photography.
Yep, both for video and photography.
Understand how to use it.
If you go out and you buy the A7 III for $2,700, right?
Yeah.
And you don't know how to operate it, you're not gonna get nothing good out of it.
Exactly.
Right.
I agree.
When I first started, I was shooting a Canon Rebel T5, and I shot
Hmm.
weddings with that.
Hmm.
I shot
Oh,
people's weddings, paid gigs with the T5,
yeah,
right?
beautiful.
So it doesn't
And
matter
you
what you have,
actually,
as long as you know the limitations and how to work around them and how to get the best that you can out of that gear. That's the most important thing.
super important. 100%. 100%. What's one gear that you want to review that's either on the market or coming slowly out on the
So
market? Is there something you want to do?
there are a few stuff that I'm looking to review. I've reached out to a couple of those vendors trying to see if I can get sample
Yeah,
units to review.
cool.
One
Yeah,
of them is the upcoming Tamron 70 to 180.
right.
I have I got the Tamron's brand new 20 millimeter lens f2.8 for Sony. I'm yet to review that. I shot the review a while back. I just gotta edit it, but
Hmm.
I gotta work on
Get it
that
done.
and post it out sometime soon.
Get it done.
But I'm looking at as I'm growing, right? I'm looking at more. What do you call pro gear, right?
Yeah, you're
Because
building. Yeah,
I'm growing, I'm learning, and eventually may start doing some corporate gigs here and there. And
hundred
I'm
percent.
prepping myself towards that, right? I may be doing just weddings and stuff right now and YouTube right now, but that's still in the learning phases. And eventually, there's path to
You're
grow.
preparing
So
yourself
I'm
for the
preparing
big time.
myself for when the big gig starts coming,
Preparing,
right?
you're preparing.
So one gear that I
Totally.
have been looking at, it's the Rhino gear, the
Okay.
Rhino arc and
Yeah.
the slider, right? The automated panning and stuff or the slider. I'm very interested
Hmm.
in those. I'm not ready yet to invest in one of those because those are really pricey. But I'm really interested in taking a look to see how they work and reviewing them.
Awesome, man. I love it. You're building, right? Like
Yep,
it's the start from here, and now it's like over there, which
yep. To me, it's
is
a
what we're
building
talking
block.
about. Like you start, yeah, that's what we're saying. Like you need to start somewhere, and then you just get better. That's just if
Yep.
you put in a lot of time and you like what you do, you just naturally, I think you just get better.
Yep, yep. That's the
I think
thing. You
naturally
gotta
you get a
like
lot
what you're
better.
doing, right? You gotta have the
So
passion for what you're doing. If you don't have that passion, then you're not really gonna.
it becomes
Yeah,
work.
it becomes boring.
It
It
becomes work.
becomes work for you, and it becomes
Yeah.
tedious, right? One thing that
Yeah.
I hate, though, I must tell you, is editing. I,
Mm,
I'm not that I'm good at
I think
editing, but the
you
time
are.
it's really time consuming.
It
So
is.
these days I try to shoot. Right, the trick is I shoot
You should to
to edit.
edit. You
So
should
I'm
to
not
edit.
spending hours and hours on the edit. I'm trying to shoot, make
Hmm.
sure that as I'm shooting, I'm thinking about the edit too. So I
Yeah.
know how it's gonna
Yeah.
flow in my head before I even get it out of the camera into the system to edit.
Yeah. I need to do better at shoot to edit. Right now, I just do a bunch of stuff and I get back. I'm okay. Make something out of this mess.
Okay,
Which I kind
let's
of enjoy,
yeah.
honest with you.
I'm
But
gonna take a look at some of the comments. So um this question says, do you have any tips and tricks for those of us who like to dabble in photography?
yeah, just starting out.
Yep.
Is this person just
Just
starting
starting
out?
out. Yep.
So, I mean, since we're stuck at home, I would, first of all, I would master probably aperture first. So I don't know if this person's has a backyard or um, I would learn aperture. So what aperture does is depth of field, right? So a really wide aperture gives you a shallow depth of field.
Yep.
And then, so you can just see like if so I would just say take the example of like a blade of grass, right? If you shoot a blade of grass at f22, there's a greater depth of field. But if you shoot a blade of grass at f2.8, it's a shallow depth of field. And what that does is it brings the subject more in focus. And why is that important? Because if you're shooting portraits, like a wedding, right? For example, you want someone to stand out. You want to have a fast lens. Like I don't know what your lenses are, Evans, but I assume they're pretty fast.
I have a couple of 1.8s, 2.8s.
Yeah, like 1.8,
Yep.
right? Like they're pretty fast. So um, for like the way that I start with photography is that I mean, first of all, we were able to leave the house. But if you're at home, I would pick a theme. right now we're in spring. So if you have some flowers at home, shoot the flowers and shoot the flowers morning, afternoon, and early evening. So you get different light.
True.
So you're going to see how the light moves around your house, right? And that's going to make you pay attention to light, which is a whole different ball game, but at least it makes you look a little bit. And I would try to use that approach for different things in the house, because there's going to be different light wherever you live. Like, I don't know where this person lives, but pick a theme. I would start with a theme and pick a flower, or pick, I don't know, a vase with water, with light. It could be cool, right? Like sometimes like there's some light that comes through my window, and the way the light comes through the blinds, it's a cool design on my bed. And I'm like, man, I should really photograph this. This is really interesting. And it's so basic, but it's cool.
Yep, it's true.
Look around. You got to look around a little bit, and
Yep.
because we're all stuck at home, you need to pay even greater attention. So honestly, a really, really great YouTube channel for photography is The Art of Photography.
Yep.
So this person should follow that channel, because he's excellent with teaching. Excellent. It's really good.
Perfect. For me, the advice I give people all the time is, if you're getting started, you have a camera in your hand all the time. You have your phones.
Yeah. Phone.
Right?
Yeah.
Don't look at investing in a camera right away. Try to get the most out of your phone.
Train your eye.
Train your eye. Look for good lights. Look for good composition. And then also try to figure out how to use your phone properly, because right now most phones gives you the ability to shoot in manual mode.
Yeah.
Right. So you should be able to adjust your aperture, shutter speed, your ISO, right on the phone. You could do all of that. Right. You may not get the best out of a phone, but it's a good starting point. For me, when I first started, one thing that I learned earlier on was to understand how a camera works. Right. Understand how a camera works. Understand how the camera sees light. Right. Because photography is all about light. Right. And the camera, all it's doing is that it's taking a look at the whole scene, and it's taking the measurements of the light and putting an average together. Right. So that's what your metering is doing. It's just metering the whole light that is coming in, and taking an average of that metering of that light system to get the proper exposure.
Yeah.
So if you understand how that camera is functioning, how that camera is achieving that exposure, and then you begin to understand how to change your shutter speed, your aperture, and your ISO, then you have full control of what you're creating, right? So you can create a night scene even in the broad daylight.
Yeah,
right.
I know. It's
So
awesome.
it's all understanding how the camera works, understanding how to control the light that is hitting your sensor. And that way you're not taking pictures, you're creating images.
Yeah. Training your eye is so important.
Yep.
And that comes with practice too, right? It's not gonna
It's not
you
a
gotta
one-day thing.
practice. Pay attention, look what's around you.
Okay, so the next comment says, my first 4K camera was the A6300. But for my first 4K camera, to be honest, I found it a bit overwhelming. Yeah, it can.
Yeah, it can. This person just started.
Yep. The next question says, what is a good first camera? I think we already answered similar question.
For photo or for video?
The person did not really clarify. It just says, what is a good first camera? But I think
your
we
phone.
already, your phone.
Use your phone.
Your phone is always the first good one.
Use your phone. Train your eye.
Yep. Even for video, your phone is good.
Even for video, you can do. I mean, there's an app called KindMaster. It's free. You can edit quick videos on your phone, and it's free. So I would probably start there if I was just starting.
So the Exodo one says it's really good, but it does a lot of things. It's good because you get better. You see how helpful its features are. Oh, I think he was talking about the A6300. Then the question comes and says, what do you guys feel about the Blackmagic Pocket Camera 4K to cameras like the GH5 and the Sony A7 III? So, this is a video question. So, personally, I've been looking to probably in the near future invest in one of the Blackmagic cameras.
Mm.
Just because of some of the opportunities it will give me to learn and improve.
Yep.
Talking about learning to shoot in RAW,
Mm.
edit in RAW, some of the pro features that this gives you. So the difference is this: you if you look at the A7 III, you look at all the other mirrorless cameras. These
Mhm.
are basically photo cameras that's really good in video.
Mm.
Whereas the Blackmagic cameras, pocket cameras, are cinema grade cameras. So you can't really go out and say I'm gonna go do a photo shoot with the Blackmagic pocket camera 6K or
Right.
4K. Those
Right.
are purely video centric cameras with pro features, really high end, high level video features, right?
Mm.
So if your job it's just video, you can go wrong investing in one of those, right?
Mhm.
But what you have to think about is this: if I pick up my A6400 and I
Mhm.
put a lens on it, I'm ready to shoot video. You can't do the same thing if you're on a Blackmagic.
Mm.
The camera is one investment. You got to look at the lenses. You got to look at adapters. Then you
Mhm.
got to look at the cage. Then you got to look at a way to monitor, right? It has a monitor in the back, but that monitor is just stuck there. It's not going to be moving. You can flip it up and down. So you're definitely going to need an external monitor like the um, Atomos Ninja V or even the any of the regular monitors that's not a recorder, right? You
Mm.
definitely need that. That's a camera that you need to rig up. So if you can take a look at my last live stream where I did how I rig the A7 III, you
Mhm.
could see how bulky it looks like. That camera, it's meant to be rigged out because it's a cinema
Right.
camera, right?
Yeah.
So if you have that, because don't look at the price, because you may be looking at the fact that that is 1900 or 1800 compared to the A7 III, which is maybe about 2700, right?
Mm.
But that 1900 price you're paying for the Blackmagic, that's not the end. You got to look at the cages, you got to look at the adapters to be able to convert some of the Sony lenses or some of the vintage lenses and stuff to make them work, right? So you're gonna end up spending more than the what you would spend on the A7 III. That's my
Mm.
opinion. But if you have the funds to do that and you're just doing video, you can never go wrong with that.
Mm. Hopefully that helps this person.
Yeah.
Yada yada yada. I spent $5,000.
Yep. So there's a question from Russell. He says Evans and Paul. Oh,
Mhm.
Evans for Paul. Oh, says a question for Evans and Paul.
Yeah.
Which photographers influenced you, and
Yeah.
how did they influence your thinking, photographing, and career path, or as a hobbyist?
Yeah.
Mm.
Um, I wasn't really into photography. I mean, I really just started photography. I don't know, probably 2010. I had a Canon point and shoot, and I took this little point and shoot on my trips to like Europe, whatever. I took a couple of cool pictures, put them on Facebook. People liked them, and it didn't really until I joined Get Out Shoot. I wasn't really into photography, so I'm gonna have to say that like the people in the group kind of helped shape me. To be honest with you, like Adam, the person that started Get Out Shoot, he helped me uh, kind of start. There are a few other people that were in the early days of the group that helped me start. I wasn't even watching YouTube back then, really. Like I was just like meeting people when they were showing me how to do things. And it goes back to the point of meeting like-minded people because they can teach you, especially when you meet them in person, they can teach you right then. So you have that connection. Um, so yeah, I'm gonna have to say like the group, to be honest with you, because I didn't like my friends at the time weren't into photography. Like I had no one, so just me looking for a group. Um, yeah, so I mean, probably say the group. I mean, obviously, you have the big people on YouTube, Peter McKinnon, and all those guys, which is cool. I mean, they can teach you too, but I mean, I wasn't really shaped by them. I can get ideas from them now, but I kind of have my own style, right? Like I kind of know what I like to do.
Yeah, for me, it all started as a hobby, because I just wanted to take pictures of my daughters
Yeah.
when they were born, my twin
Sure.
girls. So I just started. I was doing in-house photo shoots with them every once a
Yeah.
month. Every month we do a photo shoot, that kind of stuff. But I had this guy that I'm very grateful for. His name is Kofi. He's been
Mhm.
doing wedding photos for years. He actually did my wedding. So
Mm.
he did my wedding. So at some point, I reached out to him because I wanted to learn more. I've been
Yeah.
playing around with my camera at home for a while, and I wanted to learn more. I reached out to him, and he said, "Oh, no problem. Come, let's go do some wedding gigs together." Right. So I followed him a while around to watch him shoot weddings. Shoot as well with my camera a little bit around. At that time, I was just using the T5 and the kit lens, right?
Mm.
The 18 to 55, and I
Yep.
started off shooting with him on that, and I picked up a lot from him, right? For
Yeah.
me, that was more valuable than watching videos because
Yeah.
I got to see the guy live in action doing real gigs. So I was thrown into the live environment, right? So it's a learn as you go.
Thrown to the
um
fire.
yeah,
It's the best
I
part.
shoot some shots and some of the frames came up black, right? Because it was low light. I was still learning how to um
Yeah.
use some of these features, right? So for me, that he was one of the guys that influenced my beginning a lot, in terms of photography.
Hmm.
He taught me a lot. He taught me a lot.
It's great. I mean, that's perfect.
Flash, on camera flash, off camera
Yeah.
flash.
All
I
this stuff.
started learning a lot of stuff from him.
So,
And then after a while, I grew the interest in video and then just switched over, started learning how to expose properly for video. Just applied some of my skills from photography
mm,
to the video side. There's a little bit of differences that you gotta account for, but
yeah.
transition was pretty smooth to video. And it's been like that.
Super important to meet people, man. Like I think
Yep.
that's I think it's paramount to be honest with you. I mean,
Yep.
if you want to make it a career, like I'm trying to do more freelance stuff. Like, um, you can meet people that can help you prepare to do freelance work, right? Their experiences, how they approach work, how they get clients, all this stuff that goes into trying to do freelance work, which I'm trying to do more of. Um, that's where I'm trying to go, to be honest with you. So I don't, we'll see what happens with it. But it's fun, man. Like it's fun. Like I don't know,
Yeah.
it's fun. It's fun making something. Just
It's
for that.
fun making something. It's always good if you have somebody that can physically be there. Online training is great. YouTube learning is great. You learn that theory part of it. For me, you can actually learn some practical stuff out of YouTube and
Yeah,
online stuff and courses. But sometimes having that physical person mentoring you goes a long way
yeah,
as
it
well.
does. It
Right.
does.
For
Yeah.
me personally, I probably would never have gone pro if I didn't meet this guy. Right.
Mm.
I probably would
Should
be
put him on the
doing
show. You should
still
get him
be
on the
doing it
show.
as a hobby. Right. I
You should
still
get
would
him
be
on the
doing my
show.
hobby and stuff. But since he was doing pro work and I
Yeah.
got to work with him, I went that path, right, of beginning to do weddings and
So,
stuff like that.
right place, right time, man.
Yep.
Such is life.
Yep.
Such is life. That's great. Does he still do weddings to this day? Is
He
he still doing?
still do weddings to this day and I
Oh,
still work
okay.
with him up to this day, right?
Ah,
So
you should get.
sometimes when he has events that he cannot make, he throws my way. Sometimes
Right.
when he has events that require two shooters, I go and I second shoot for him as well.
Hmm. Very cool. Good story, man. I like that story. It's
Yeah.
a good one.
So the next question I have says, can you expand a bit on those terms that's new to for those of us who are new to photography don't really understand
Yeah.
and what they mean in simple English. Example,
What?
aperture, ISO, and the rest.
Sure. Aperture is the size of your lens hole. Like your lens can go from very tiny to very wide, and that determines depth of field, like how much your subject stands out in your image. ISO is just fake light, right?
Mhm.
So typically if you're shooting in like a sunlit day, you want to keep your ISO down to 100. You only bump your ISO up 1,000, 2,000, 5,000 if you're in a low lit environment. So say, for example, night, you want to bump up your ISO, but keep in mind, ISO adds grain to the photo. So you go back home and your photo was at 5,000 ISO, you can see all this grain in your photo. So keep that in mind. And shutter speed is just how fast your camera takes the pic, right? So if you're trying to freeze motion, you want a fast shutter. If you want to get a light trail, meaning traffic going by, and you want to get the streaks of light with the cars, you want to have a long shutter, 5, 10 seconds, whatever it is. Hopefully that makes sense.
Yep. If you want to see examples of
Yeah.
light streaks, check out Paul's Instagram, check out my Instagram. There's a
Oh,
couple
yeah.
of pictures out there
Yeah.
with light streaks and stuff like that.
You,
So if you once you know how to control those stuff, right? Those three are the major stuff that you need to learn as a beginner. How to control your shutter speed, how to control your
mm,
aperture, how to control your ISO. Once you master these three things, you create what you want. You, like I said, you create the
yeah.
image. You don't take pictures, right?
Yeah. 100%.
You create the image, because learning how to control that, you can think of it in your head and make it happen. All right. So I can say, I want to take a picture of the bus passing by, but I don't want to really see the full bus. I just want to see the bus as a light streak going
Hmm.
through. And I know that for me to get that, I got to shoot at a really low, a really slow shutter speed. Right.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
you get your exposure set, but you make sure that you're using a shutter speed that will allow you to get that kind of trail. So those are the three components that really influences
Yeah.
your exposure and
And
how
your
your
eye.
camera
And your
works.
eye.
Yep,
And very important.
very
And your eye.
important.
I just thought of a
Right.
really silly idea for a video. I just thought of it now. Do do a do a long exposure of your faucet running.
True, true, true.
That's
You
a
could.
video, man. I'm doing. It's gonna have my ND filter. It's gonna be fantastic.
Yeah, I've
They're
I've
gonna
been
charge a fortune
thinking of starting a
for this.
couple of series on beginner stuff, right? Because
Buddy,
it's just
do it.
like these days
Do it.
everybody has stopped about the beginners and everybody's looking at the advanced stuff. But I think one of
You're
these
right.
is I'm going to start a series on the basics, right? Just
Should.
getting started, the basics, ISO, aperture, understanding exposure, understanding metering, that kind of stuff. We'll
Should,
see.
man.
We'll see how it goes.
There's a lot. I mean, yeah, it's you should really do it. People again, they just like I said, assume your audience doesn't know.
Yep.
Assume, right? And then I like that question. Hopefully that made sense.
Yep. So
Oh,
Exoda one says, "Thank you guys. Seriously, you guys are dropping gems. Thank
are we?
you."
Nice.
Another question is, have you guys looked into the new A10 mini switchers? And what's a comp? Oh, what's the comparison on the market right now? Paul, I don't know if you into that stuff.
I don't know, man. I don't know. Can you
Yeah,
take that?
I have looked into the A10 minis. So right
Mm-hmm.
now there is two of them. Well, the second one is not really out for sale yet. I think it's coming up in May.
Mm-hmm.
What the A10 mini switches are, for those that don't know, it's basically a switcher. It's good for live streaming setups where you have multiple angles of cameras, or
Mm,
even live events where you want to showcase multiple cameras, angles coming into an event projection or something of that sort. So you have, for the 8 minutes, you have four inputs, right? Four HDMI inputs coming in, and then you can use that to switch between cameras. In
mm,
some of my live streams, for those of you who have seen, I use two angles. I use a top down angle and my main angle, this angle you're looking at. But I'm not using a switcher. I'm using actually Black Magic Designs capture cards. So I'm just using two capture cards with two cameras connected, and I can just switch between each of them. The
mm,
switcher basically does that, but it gives you four inputs on one device, right?
mm-hmm.
I've looked into them. At one point, I was looking at getting one for my live stream setup, but these devices are really expensive. Like the switchers in general are really expensive.
Mm,
You're looking at a minimum for a basic one. Usually, before the minis came into the scene, that would have cost you maybe 2,000, 1,500 and above, right? But the
mm,
minis are coming in starting from, like, I think it's 450 for the mini, and the mini pro is like 800 and something dollars. But it all depends. If you're someone that streams a lot, right? For churches and organizations like that, that do regular live streams, it's worth the investment, I believe. But if you're doing home streaming and stuff, I know some YouTubers that actually uses that for their regular YouTube stream. But for me, I think it's kind of too pricey for me at
Yeah.
this point, just for my stream. I think my setup works, and I'm not really gonna invest into anything new for that.
Hmm.
But the A10 minis, they offer a lot for that price. All right, like I said before those, to get into the streaming switching kind of thing, you were looking at 1,500 and above. So
Yeah.
those are really good.
Hopefully that helps you out.
Yep.
I might just buy one. Evans is selling me now.
Yeah.
Selling me. Fantastic.
Yep. So the next question says,
Should I grab a beer?
Sorry?
Should I grab a beer?
I know. I think this is about the last question.
I
We,
didn't think
we
it was
were thinking
gonna
of just being here for like what, 45 minutes. We were almost about an hour and a half.
Yeah, I love it. We grab a beer. Let's get real.
Yeah, so let's wrap up soon. This last question says, to be honest, if you want to learn more about ISO, aperture, etc., there are tons of vids on YouTube with illustrations too, but great explanations, guys. Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, so Paul, let's try to wrap up.
Cool. Yeah, hopefully this helped you guys out a little bit. I mean, this is our first one, so well, I'm sure. I mean, I thought it went pretty well, but we can definitely improve for next time. That's for sure. And I mean, I think again, just keep things simple, especially now. Like everyone's in a level playing field. Like everyone's at home, so don't limit yourself to photography or video. I mean, it can be anything when you want to make something: painting, drawing, journaling, knitting, like whatever it is. You just need to kind of get into the habit of doing it. And meeting like-minded people is also key. So, hopefully, I don't, we're doing virtual meetups. I don't know how many other meetups are doing virtual meetups, but there's a lot of free online courses, like we said, that you can learn from, whatever you want to learn from. And just start, like what we did today. Like, this is our first live YouTube. We just started. We just said, okay, we'll go on and we'll see what happens. And I thought it went pretty well. So just start, have fun with the process, get some feedback, meet like-minded people, and just keep going. And over time, you'll be hosting your own live YouTube with Evans.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. So that's it, right? I think that, like I said, we've been talking about starting something for a long time, getting together and doing something. We never really made a time, right? But we just said, why not just jump online and see and
time. Just do it.
Just do something,
do it.
right?
Just don't think. Just do. Just keep
just do
doing.
it.
Doing
Yeah.
is the force behind everything. I think I stole that from Gary Vee, but it really is like doing instead of thinking. Like when you just do, because then there's so much more to learn from doing than thinking. Because you always create the worst scenarios in your head, which never ever happen. Very rare.
All right, so I think we're good for today. For our first time, I think we had a little bit of hiccups at the beginning, but we're good.
Yeah.
We started late, but we're good. We're gonna see and plan out the next one, which will be on Paul's channel. So guys, don't forget to subscribe to Paul's channel so you don't miss out on the next one. We also, look and see and things are gonna. I think it's. From my standpoint, I think it was good, right?
It's fun just chatting, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I like seeing someone talking to someone.
Yeah. Yep.
It's just so basic.
Yep. So guys, don't let this whole COVID situation, being indoors, get to you too much. Don't depress yourself. Get out there, take your phone, whatever device you have, stage something in your living room, right? It could be anything, no matter how small. Keep yourself engaged, learn something new, learn new skills, and learn something new. Put yourself out there. Prepare, right? Prepare.
Now's the time.
Good time.
Now's the time.
Right.
Now's
Paul, any last minute message?
No, thanks so much for having me. First of all, thanks so much for inviting me, and it was an honor, and I had fun, and that's what I wanted out of this. I just want to have some fun tonight. So, thank you. It was a good time.
All right. Thank you, guys. Thanks for tuning in.
Thanks, guys. Come on board.
Yep. Check out Paul's channels. Don't forget to subscribe. The link is in the description. And we'll see you the next time we stream live.
See you, buddy.
All right. Good night.